This is what we know. Next starts now. The best starts now. Everybody stand up. Let the rest stand down. Next starts now. The best starts now. Everybody stand up. Let the rest stand down. People in the house, can you hear me through the speakers? This is who we are. We are the next seekers. In fact, who we are is who we've always been. It's in our DNA to spot the next trend, the next iteration, the next big thing, the next hit song, the next color for spring. Way back when we saw the cloud as the future, the cloud won. End of discussion, Junior. Next starts now. The best starts now. Everybody stand up. Let the rest stand down. We don't need buzzwords. We need substance. You always hear folks talking about disruption, disruption, and other such cliches. A million hashtags flying around these days. Let them be disruptive. That word means nothing. What you need is for your systems to function. What you need is for your systems to function. Front end to back end, creative to construction. Front end to lease end to back end to construction. Fast and then productive. So you can focus on being what's next and productive. So you can focus on being creative and constructive. Next starts now. The best starts now. Everybody stand up. Let the rest stand down. NetSuite is ready as we've been since the beginning. This year, next year, we will be for many. This is what we know. We are leaders, not followers. Myself, Lyrics Born, we're creators. All of us. Next starts now. The best starts now. Everybody stand up. Let the rest stand down. Everybody stand up. The rest stand down. Everybody stand up. Next starts now. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome EVP, Oracle NetSuite Global Business Unit, Jim McGeever.
Welcome to SuiteWorld 2017, Vegas edition. Well, you knew we had to put on a little bit of a show being in Vegas. Evan, I have a feeling we're not in San Jose anymore. So thanks Lyrics Born and our hacker crew. You've got no idea how hard it was to get those guys through TSA. But on the plus side, they had no hassle from any flight attendants, so that worked out. This is the biggest SuiteWorld ever, obviously. Just look at the size of this room and the number of people in here. It's just a phenomenal event. I really want to thank and a big shout out to the village of people it takes to pull on an event like this. It's just a phenomenal experience for all of us. A big welcome to our customers, our partners, and our employees. Everyone comes together at SuiteWorld. I love this event every year. Every year I meet new people. I come away with new perspectives, new ideas, new thoughts, and I think that's why we come to events like this. We come to learn, not just from NetSuite, but more importantly from each other. And that's why we do so many industry tracks and so many social events. Okay, that's not the only reason we do so many social events, but I'm pretty sure we have to put that on the tax returns to write it off. If for the gala next year, tomorrow night, we have the same band as last year, the Royal Machines, which is a super band. If anyone was here last year, you know what great fun we had. We had Ozzy Osbourne, Billy Idol, ZZ Top, Sugar Ray, just a phenomenal fun night. And same thing tomorrow. We don't know who we're going to get. The whole thing with this band is it's who's ever in LA at the time and not in rehab. They call it their friends. They bring them over. And, you know, we put on a great party. So awesome. OK. I'd also like to thank our sponsors. So we have so many sponsors this year. Next year, it's probably be easier to name the people that didn't sponsor us, who came together. A big shout out to iCharts and Del Boomi, who've been a significant part of this conference for many years now. You should all go to the expo hall. It's huge. There's a lot of fun things to do around there. People really went out of their way to both show you new things, show you what they've done, show you how they've partnered with us, as well as some fun activities. But, you know, for those of you who want to try the Oracle sailing, shaking around, just put a little time in your schedule to sit down for about 10 minutes afterwards. Okay. You'll see what I mean when you get there. All right. And especially a special thank you to Deloitte Digital, our titanium sponsor. Deloitte have been a phenomenal partner to us over the years, and we've built a great business, and you're going to hear a little bit from them later. And in completely unrelated news, I'd also like to congratulate Deloitte Digital on being our Worldwide Partner of the Year. Okay, the theme for this year is Next Starts Now. But what's changed? Some things have changed. Obviously, it's been a big year for us. Well, one thing that's changed is that we're in Vegas, not in San Jose anymore. But we have been told that if you don't show up to Evan's keynotes tomorrow morning on time, then we're going to have to go back to San Jose. Now, we did, however, because we do put this big event on the gala on Wednesday night, you may notice the industry keynotes that start on Thursday morning have been pushed back a bit. You do get a little bit more, shall I? We figured that was our one concession for Vegas. Here's another thing that's changed. Our safe harbor statement has gotten a lot shorter. And I think basically what it says is what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So I think we're pretty good there. Okay. Next Starts Now. Every conference has a theme. And like every company, we have a marketing department. And this is what we came up with. It's not what I wanted to call it. What I had for it was more, how can I put it? Basic, maybe the polite way of saying it. Something about getting stuff done, but you know. But it next starts now. And you're going to hear a lot of this throughout the next few days about what's ready for our next. But there is an elephant in the room. And in fact, if there's one place I thought we could get an actual live elephant in the room, I thought it was in Vegas. Turns out we couldn't. But let's talk about the real elephant in the room. Oracle is in love with NetSuite. No, I mean, Oracle bought NetSuite. They were so much in love, they bought NetSuite. So, so that's obviously a big change. So NetSuite is now inside of Oracle, and this isn't true for a lot of the companies they've acquired, but it's very true for NetSuite. We are now a global business unit inside of Oracle. Now, what does that mean? That means all sales, all services, all support, all development is still contained within inside a single business unit. That all reports up to Evan and me, and we report to the CEO of Oracle, Mark Hurd. And so for most people who at NetSuite and for most of our customers, there is almost no change whatsoever. You are not going to experience a difference in how you're supported. You're not going to feel a difference in who your sales rep or your account manager is. You're not going to see a difference in who provides your services. It's the same partner network. It's the same professional services people. It's really been business as usual, and there's been very few changes for most of our customers and most of our employees. All that's really happened is we've exchanged one set of shareholders, public shareholders, who all they wanted from us when we were public was growth. That's all they wanted, and they didn't really care how we did it. Now we've exchanged it for a set of shareholders who, guess what they want from us? They want growth, but they actually know what they're doing, and more importantly, they actually have resources that are going to help us do it, because they understand this business. And so I'm very excited to bring up on stage a surprise guest which is the CEO of Oracle, Mr. Mark Hurd. Oh, there you are. Thank you. No, thank you.
All right, hi. I realized something for the first time just a couple minutes ago, and that's that Jim is a pretty funny guy. I had not seen that side of Jim, but maybe I'm the closest thing to an elephant you could legally get in the room. And that's the end of my comedy. I'm here for really one purpose, to sort of give you a view of why we did what we did, i.e. buy NetSuite, and frankly, what our intentions are, why we did it, and why it's important to us, and what you should expect from us. So first, just to give you a size of the transaction, when Jim said we were in love with NetSuite, that cost us $9.3 billion. And those shareholders that Jim describes he no longer has in the public markets, I still do. And they ask questions like, why did you do it? And so what I'm going to do is explain to you a little bit of the rationale why, and then the implications of the why on how we're going to perform and how we're going to run the business, and hopefully from what you see, and I hope what you come away with is you're going to see more from NetSuite, not less, as a result of the acquisition. All right, let's go to the first chart. First, to the 40,000 companies, organizations, and subsidiaries. This is a broad group of people that use NetSuite products. Thank you. This is a big deal. I mean, the reason the acquisition happened, the reason that NetSuite has had the success that it's had is really due to great products and, frankly, great customers. And so to all of you that have been part of that, thank you. It's a big deal to us. And we'll talk a little bit about cloud and cloud ERP in a second, because again, I want to try to give you some context as to how Jim talked about how we think about the market, but I want you to understand how we think about the market, because I think that's the best way you can predict our behavior and what impact it will have on you. All right, next chart. There's a big change going on in our industry right now. So our industry, called IT, is about $2 trillion. That might sound like a lot of money, but the worldwide economy, that's a better way to describe it, is $75 trillion. So it's a lot, and IT is only 3% of that. Half of that is consumer now. I see people out here with cameras on phones and all of that taking pictures. That stuff didn't exist a dozen years ago. That market has gone from a couple of $100 billion to $1 trillion in just 12 years. The other $1 trillion of that market is enterprises, businesses like you, all the way up to the biggest companies in the world. So $1 trillion in consumer and $1 trillion in enterprise. Enterprise being everything that's not a consumer. And that enterprise market's going through a huge shift right now. A shift from on-premise, the old way of doing things, to this thing called cloud. Wasn't always called cloud. In fact, when NetSuite started, when Evan and Larry started the business, did you ever hear the word cloud, Evan? No, no cloud. It was just software over the network, right? Software over the network. Before cloud was even popular and had this charismatic term. But it has a term now, and it has a meaning now. And it's $50 billion of that $1 trillion. So really still today, only 5% of the market, but the growth rate in cloud is now 50%. And the growth in the traditional on-premise world is actually negative. So there's a huge shift to the cloud, and here's the reasons why. It just costs less. And for spending less money, you have to take more innovation at the same time. You actually get more innovation at a lower cost. It's more secure. You can't customize the applications. You get more new stuff at a faster cycle time. The stuff that Evan and team can do now never could be done in the old on-premise world. Never at that pace, never at the speed. And you get a newer feel, a more modern feel to all of these applications. So this trend, this movement, is an irresistible force. I believe this will dominate the IT market over the course of the next decade. You're going to see 70, 80% of the market make this shift from the traditional on-premise to the cloud market. And that's an important thing, I think, for you to understand about how we think about the business. We didn't spend $9.3 billion to disinvest in the business. Quite the opposite. We spent that money to invest in it, to drive it harder, to drive it faster, as part of a grander strategy for Oracle to lead this transformation to the cloud. Next chart. And this is really us. I talked about this 10-year march to the cloud. It'll take 10 years to get all of this stuff moved. And our strategy has been to be a best-of-breed set of applications, meaning that each individual application has to be the absolute best at what it does. That all of these things are built on industry standards, built on Java, built on the Oracle database. Amongst the many things that we loved about NetSuite was the fact it was built on some great technologies, namely ours. And, well, this might sound right, but we believe the NetSuite team made great decisions when it built its application, built on a fantastic, extensible platform. We think at the same time we want to provide a suite of applications, no pun intended, but that means HR applications, sales applications, marketing applications, all that can be with data shared across each of those applications. So a best-of-breed strategy and a suite of best-of-breed applications. And as a result of all this work we've done at Oracle, inclusive of what we've done with NetSuite, we're now the fastest growing of all those cloud companies. So if there's one thing you remember, I hope you remember many things, but if there's one thing, if somebody tonight says to you, who is the fastest growing cloud company in the IT industry? This is a affirmation vote. Does anybody know who that is? Let me give you 4 choices. Salesforce.com, that's a choice. Amazon Web Services, that's a second choice. Microsoft would be a third choice, or Oracle would be the fourth choice. Now, you've got to believe I wouldn't be asking the question if I didn't know the answer. Who do you think the answer is? This must be too early. It must be Vegas. I'm looking for, who do you think the answer is? Yeah, yours a very good audience. I mean, I don't know. I had to ask twice, but okay, I'll take it. But it has resulted in us being the fastest growing cloud company. And our plan, to Jim's earlier point about growth, isn't to slow that down. Let's go to the next chart. Our strategy, the execution of our strategy to set the new standard in customer delight in cloud and in our industry, to have the absolute happiest customers, to lead the ERP market. The 2 largest markets in software in the past 25 years are database and ERP. It's no accident why we've invested the way we have. Win with a SaaS ERP suite. This has broader implications around things like budgeting, things like planning, et cetera, in addition to just financials, manufacturing, supply chain. To extend to a broader SaaS portfolio, HR, marketing, things I mentioned a bit earlier. And to maintain and leverage the tremendous partner ecosystem that NetSuite has built over the years. This is our strategy. This is what we plan to do. Next chart. It has several implications, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about first what's happened since the acquisition. We completed the acquisition in November. We had a shareholder who didn't want to part ways with their final shares. This provided great entertainment for me for a few weeks. But anyway, we got it closed in November. We did implement the business unit exactly as Jim described. And our strategy is to give NetSuite all of the benefits of Oracle scale and try to give it none of the encumbrances of Oracle's bureaucracy. That's the trick of scale. My job as a leader is to make sure NetSuite gets all those benefits and none of those problems. Scale's a beautiful friend, beautiful asset. until it's not. So our objective is to, if you will, almost incubate NetSuite. Put it in a position to do some broken field running, invest into it, and put it in a position to lead its market, and frankly, lead its market globally. And since the close of the deal, we actually increased our growth rate. So back to the point of Jim's earlier comments, Jim was happy the first quarter closing after the acquisition, and that made me happy. In addition, we're going to now sort of lay out where these investments are. We've built our strategy over the last several months, and this is what I want to tell you about where we're headed today. Next chart. Starting with investing more in R&D. And it isn't just to invest. Just to give you an idea, Oracle spends about $5.2 billion in R&D, so it's a lot of money. But in this case, it really is. NetSuite, my view, did a fantastic job, like most SaaS companies did in the United States. Great job. We need to accelerate NetSuite's expansion across the globe. So we're going to invest in international expansion. I won't get into all the details of phase 1 and phase 2, but as fast as Evan can go and do it right, that's what we're going to do. I don't mean to put pressure on you, Evan, but Evan likes that, I think. We need to move faster because we want to globalize and move NetSuite around the planet. That means to us leveraging our data centers, leveraging our distribution, leveraging everything we got to accelerate this strategy. Second, to broaden the suite. Give you as customers access to all of the SaaS products we have that will help you. By the way, this isn't a mandate. This isn't you must do this. This is try to get more technology, more integration with the NetSuite portfolio to take advantage of things that maybe NetSuite couldn't have done organically. Doesn't mean NetSuite still won't have partnerships. NetSuite will have partnerships. Some of those partnerships may have products like what Oracle has. I will not dictate to NetSuite they have to do this or they have to do that. But I will encourage them to leverage all of the technology we have in our SaaS suite and bring it as close together, leverage it, and bring it to market as tightly integrated as we possibly can. To accelerate the verticalization and suite success, move into more micro industries. You can see here a list. I won't go through all of these from retail on, but to accelerate these micro segments, these micro verticals, to continue to tailor the product for specific industries. And we'll do that as well globally. More investment in R&D, more investment in broadening the suite, more investment in verticals, the ability also to increase distribution. Customers don't always like to hear we're going to hire more salespeople. It's one of, when I'm with Oracle crowds, sometimes actually it breaks out in boos when I talk about hiring more salespeople. But we are going to increase distribution, particularly outside the US. We're actually going to add in the US, but also add globally. More R&D, broaden the suite, more verticalization, more investment in suite success, more distribution. There's a theme to all this, which is just more. More and faster. Next chart. And that's sort of what this says. You know, Oracle, NetSuite together. We want to serve startups to global enterprise. By the way, just to be clear, most of our business in financials, our being Oracle's, was sold to customers 1,000 employees or greater. Most of NetSuite's install base, 1,000 employees or smaller. Really a perfect complement. Again, there may be some customers that are bigger that eventually still want to use NetSuite. That's going to be fine. People that want to leverage, this is not going to be dictation, but it's a general segmentation of how we'll drive the market. In addition, I've said more, I've said better, but a statement I know I made at the time of the acquisition, I remember I wrote this quote specifically to make sure there was no clarity. I view that we will maintain these two products forever. Forever. I've tried to come up with a term that might be longer than forever, and I couldn't come up with one because I wanted to avoid whatever fear, uncertainty, and doubt that somebody in the market might try to lay out for our team. It's just not the case. So, how am I doing on time? Am I doing okay? I have as long as I want. That's so thoughtful, Evan. As long as I keep investing in R&D, I have as long as I want. Let me try to end this way. We don't have time for me to take any questions. I do? Oh, okay, so I'm gonna finish with one statement. If anybody has any questions, I guess I'm told I can try to take some. But I just wanna make sure if there's one request I have of you, that not everybody, not every customer, not every partner, not everyone is here. And I hope if you have that opportunity, you will take advantage of extending our message out to the broader community. We don't do acquisitions lightly. There's a lot of stories about Oracle acquisitions. We've got a cookie cutter approach to acquisitions, a standard way of doing things. I'm here to tell you it's not true. We have a standard way we think about acquisitions, but we improvise. We don't usually do what we're doing with NetSuite. We improvise when it makes sense. We're keeping NetSuite together as a business. Our strategy is to leverage our balance sheet. Just to give you context, if that doesn't mean anything to you, that right now, this second, I haven't called back to Redwood Shores this morning, we probably have $60 billion worth of cash. I didn't misspeak either, so it's 6-0. And we want to invest that into growing the business. We actually had more than that before we spent $9.3 billion on NetSuite. And we invested it because it is so key to our strategy. And so I always tell you, don't listen always to what CEOs say, watch what they do. What they do is much more important than what they say. And the numbers tell you what they're really thinking. $9.3 billion doesn't lie. An org chart with an independent business unit doesn't lie. Investment in R&D and commitment to R&D schedules doesn't lie. Investment in more distribution doesn't lie. It's all about, for us, what Jim started with. It's about growth. And to drive growth, we believe it's about investment. I'm here to tell you my belief is NetSuite's best days are ahead of it, not behind it. The things NetSuite wanted to do as a public company is tough in the public markets. I'm here to testify to that. Public markets has very little patience for anything that doesn't fit nicely into their financial models. And the things I just told you this morning will not fit nicely into public market financial models. But it'll fit real well into ours. And we're going to drive the heck out of this. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate it. I'm glad to take any, if anybody's got a question, I'm glad to try. It might be hard to do in this room, big room, but wow. I had no idea the room went that far back. Hi. Hi, this is great. Okay, sure, please. I'm glad to try to take your question. Hi.
Taking my question.
Sure.
For existing NetSuite customers, what is the most significant benefit that they will see in the next 12 months coming out of the integration with Oracle?
You know, I hope there's not one benefit, right? I mean, I hope there's multiple. I hope you'll see, first, one benefit I hope you see is continuity. It might sound like a trite one, but I want you to see continuity of relationship, continuity of support, and all of the things that you like about NetSuite, you keep. I want you to see an acceleration in R&D. That might not show up in the first year. Maybe it's 9 months, maybe it's 12 months, maybe it's 15 months. You see more verticalization, you see more capabilities. You then finally see a richer product portfolio. I hope what you see is more opportunity to look at a broader set of products. We have a firm belief that if you can get more products that share sort of the same common data foundation, you get more leverage. So I think it's continuity. I think it's more investment in R&D, which yields in the end more products, a richer product portfolio. And I meant what I said when I started. I mean, our strategy is to create a highly differentiated customer support experience. You know, we at Oracle are learning a bit from NetSuite too. So there's also benefits to Oracle because frankly, there's some things NetSuite does better than we do. And so there's learning that goes both ways. But those are some of the benefits I think you would see short term. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hey, Mark. You mentioned earlier that scale is a beautiful thing. From a customer perspective, what do you think about the expansion for customers, either by geography or by industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I mean, I was being a little cute with my comment about scale. Scale's a great thing when it can do all the things I described. More investment, more distribution, et cetera. Scale's a bad thing if it makes things move slower. You know, Jim and I always talk about how many people at Oracle reach out because they want to help him. And, my point to him is, don't take those calls. And because there's so many people in our org that we have 140,000 people, all very well-intentioned, all very smart, but frankly, some of the best things they can do in the case of NetSuite is nothing. Just let NetSuite do some broken field running. So we really have to do both of what you described, and inherent in my comments or implied in my comments are exactly what you described. More availability in more geographies, more capabilities to do more things as a customer expands internationally that perhaps you couldn't have done before. I mean, we sell and support products today at Oracle in 114, 115 countries around the world. By the way, does everybody know how many countries there are in the world? Evan, do you know? Hundreds. That's very good. Yeah, no, it's very good. You can imagine how my day goes. What's your forecast? I don't know, it's a lot. Okay, so how many countries are there? There's hundreds. I mean, hundreds. So this is one more thing I hope you learn. If you looked at the United Nations or the Olympics, probably two good surrogates for how many countries? Roughly 200. Roughly 200. Depends whether the Sudan's going east or south, or there's various things that change, but a couple of hundred. So we're in about 60% of the countries in the world. We have local capabilities to support. So that gives a lot of reach to NetSuite that ordinarily we wouldn't have had. Yep, thanks. All right, anything else? Are you with the press? I don't think that's allowed. I mean, we can't have press, but this is a customer event. Okay, hi.
A quick comment. I'm Michael Kriegsman from CXO.
Is this a question? You said a comment. Is this a question or a comment?
A question.
Okay.
I'm Michael Kriegsman from CXO Talk. How will you ensure that there's a clear distinction between the NetSuite ERP and other ERP products that Oracle sells?
Well, we don't sell other products. We have one other product. So there's an Oracle ERP suite, there's a NetSuite suite, and both of those can leverage other elements. But the segmentation is roughly what I described based on both employee size and vertical industries. But that said, I don't want to make it so precise that we wind up creating rules and policies that don't make sense. So for example, if you told me a customer who was a small company, not every small company plans to be a small company the rest of their life. So if a small company said, I bought NetSuite and I love NetSuite. We have companies today that are materially bigger than 1,000 employees that are over $1 billion in revenue running NetSuite as their core financials. And I just want to make sure somebody understands that that's not against the rules. So, I mean, these are rough guidelines. We want to do what's right, though, in the end for the customer, not just what's right for us. So we'll create, if you will, segmentations and guidelines, et cetera. But in the end, for example, we may have a Fortune 10 Oracle Fusion ERP customer who has small subsidiaries or new business in pick a country and says, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to deploy NetSuite. And if I use the hard line of the segmentation, you'd never do that. So that we don't want to make a hard, whatever it is, bright red line. We want to say, listen, it's a guideline, but not a rule. All right. Take one more or something, and then I'll go away. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have to ask this.
Oh, good.
Can you help us partners go after the SAP marketplace?
Well, SAP. So let me give you my view of SAP because it's really free of charge. By the way, for those of you that don't know SAP, so SAP is a company in Germany, and they make a competing ERP product. So just to give you an idea, the first wave through on-prem ERP, for everybody who doesn't know, SAP got 22% market share on-prem. We at Oracle got 20. Okay, so they won the first fight. They won Germany like 95% market share to almost nothing for us. We won the US, you know, it goes geography by geography. SAP decided to invest in a thing called S/4HANA. Do you know what this thing is? This is brilliant in my view. This is brilliant for us. They focused on rewriting a database. And they didn't decide to rewrite their core application. This is a huge mistake, in my opinion. And if you look today at our ERP business at Oracle, we're up to, just to give you some context, we've got about 19,000 on-prem customers, a little more than that. We've almost, I think by the end of the quarter, non-NetSuite, you know, we'll be over 4,000, almost 5,000 SaaS customers in the cloud in about 2.5 years. It took us 24 years to get to 19,000. About 70% of those are new logos. And when we win, about 35 or 40% of the time, we replace SAP. SAP. For the very reason I'm describing. You know, they slapped on an old UI called Fiori, which is sort of old technology and so forth. And so if no real change, it's basically an on-premise app with a computer moved to a different data center. Still have to patch it individually. You still have to do all the things you did to an on-premise app. So I would love to help. Yes, I would love to take them out. See, this is a hard thing for me because now that I know there's press in the room, I have to limit sort of my comments that I can't share if we were in a smaller group. But the answer to your question is yes. Yes, we will do everything in our power short of illegal to help you take market share from them. Okay, thank you. All right, I'm gonna call it a morning. All right, you guys have a great conference, okay? Thank you, bye.
All right, thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. So, okay, so what does all this mean? So now, Mark's talked about a lot about this, but now we're going to get into some specifics. Okay, so what this means is more. More countries, more industries, more products, more customer success. I'm going to go through a few of the details of that. It also means more stock photography, apparently, but that's... Okay. So, we're going global, and not in a small way, in a big way. This is one of the key strategies of Oracle buying us, and this is going to benefit all of us. Even if half of NetSuite customers are One World customers, which means they have multiple subsidiaries in multiple countries, we're going to go much, much deeper, much, much faster in One World and around the globe than we've ever gone before. So we were doing pretty well. In the NetSuite, pretty successful. We had field offices, sales and service, support operations in about 10 different countries around the world. So we were doing pretty good. Oracle, well, they had more. So we're going to take advantage of that. And more immediately means that we are going to be launching in 13 additional countries ASAP. The budget's approved, the recs are open, it's go, go, go. And so as soon as we can get the people hired and the bodies in place, we will be launching in 13 additional countries. Okay? Well, that's more. Okay, but hiring the distribution, support, and service isn't enough. You also have to have the infrastructure. Well, NetSuite was, again, doing pretty well. We had 5 data centers, 3 in the US, 2 in Europe. And so immediately, If you look at Oracle's footprint, one of their core strategies is platform as a service, compete with Microsoft and AWS. And so they have built 21 state-of-the-art data centers just in the last 2 years. These are brand new, running Oracle technology, which we run all our NetSuite on, so we'll be able to take immediate advantage of this. So we're going to more than double the size of our data centers globally as soon as possible. So we're going to be launching a 4th data center in Chicago immediately. The POs have been signed off, they're going. We're going to go launch another data center in Europe, in Germany, where they desperately need some modern cloud applications. And then we're going to Asia, where we'll start off with Singapore and Asia, quickly followed by China and Japan. Again, when? As soon as possible. The ops team has been given the budget, they've been given the green light. It's as fast as they can get it done. So next Tuesday, something like that? Anyway, but we'll be global, international, okay? But then also development. We need the product. So we, again, at NetSuite, had quite a lot of development offices. It's been a phenomenal increase in resources over the last few years. Well, we're going to get to leverage the global Oracle development centers. They have quite a lot. You know, they probably can't even count all the ones they have. But immediately, we're just going to leverage 4. And these 4 in Asia and in South America will be immediately doing one world and localization features to help us get to this global level of localization and internationalization at a much, much deeper level than we could do ourselves. The great thing is not only do they have the developers, they actually are in these countries already, so the product managers, they understand the local markets. They also have some of the local partnerships we'll be able to leverage, so we'll be able to go much faster. So what does this mean? How are we going to achieve all this? Well, we're hiring. In fact, we're going to hire more people in 2018, which is now on the Oracle fiscal years, ending May of every year, so May of 2018. We will hire more people in 2018 than we had total employees in 2012. So we are growing, and we are growing fast. So hopefully you're all getting the message. What this all means is more, forever. All right, so there's a few things that haven't changed. Okay, so what hasn't changed? Well, our commitment to our partners and customers hasn't changed. And if anything, leveraging all these resources we'll be able to get from Oracle, you'll get even more of this. We'll be able to do more country and language support than we've ever been able to do before. We'll be able to do more products, more integrations, more partnerships, leveraging that scale. And it is funny, I do love it when I get the, every meeting I have at NetSuite today contains me talking to a NetSuite employee saying, well, why did you do that? Oh, because someone from Oracle called me and asked me to do that. I was like, okay, let me explain this to you. You report to me, I report to Mark. Mark tells you not to take those phone calls. So this is a reminder for the NetSuite employees in the room. You heard it from Mark, don't take the phone calls. Okay, but here's what else hasn't changed. NetSuite is available for any company of any size, any country, and any vertical where it's the right fit. That hasn't changed. There is a sales segmentation in terms of what our sales team was focused on. We've always historically been focused on the mid-market, and then we had this growing enterprise business where we were looking for 2-tier opportunities in the enterprise. That is still the case today. Oracle sales reps in the enterprise will be able to sell NetSuite. We have this tiger team of NetSuite employees who know NetSuite who will be able to help them do so. There is no strategy. If you start with NetSuite, then when you get larger, you move to Oracle. There is that swapping recurring dollars for each other makes no sense. There is no strategy. NetSuite will be available to anyone who needs it, and you'll be able to grow with us. There is no bright red line of when you have to move or switch. Okay. Our customers rock. If you're at NetSuite, you're a NetSuite customer, you are part of, by far, and this isn't even close, the most widely deployed cloud ERP on the planet. No one can come even close to this. One of the things you'll see this week at SuiteWorld, and this was a big push for us, 80% of all the sessions, of all the hundreds of sessions that we have, will have a customer speaking in it. So you're going to hear from a lot of customers. You'll be able to learn from them, get from their experiences, and you're going to get to meet them. And we do all these industry tracks just so you can do that. You can meet people with similar experiences. You can learn from each other. Here's something that hasn't changed. The Cloud One. We told you this. We've been saying this for 15, 16, 17 years. But at this point, there is no doubt the Cloud One. With one exception, every on-premise applications company on the planet has changed their business model to look like NetSuite. We didn't change to look like them. They changed to look like us. That multi-trillion-dollar IT industry that's being disrupted by cloud, we were one of the very first cloud companies. You all, people who were with us a long time, you helped make that happen. It would never have happened if 10, 15 years ago, some of our early customers hadn't headed down this path with us and had the success of some of the other cloud companies, but you helped change this. I mean, cloud is such a given now. I think in San Francisco, cloud was the #3 baby name just after Liam and Ava. The year before it was SaaS, but that didn't really catch on. Okay, so everyone's changing to look like NetSuite. If you're trying to create a new applications business company today, and you want to get financing, no VC will give you money. If you're on an on-premise app or looking at an on-premise app, there is no investment happening in those applications. All the growth, all the innovation, it's all happening in cloud. The Cloud One. Okay, here's something else hasn't changed. Microsoft and SAP have a problem spelling cloud. So SAP, as Mark said, their CEO of SAP said, we're betting the company on S/4HANA. And you know what? We agree with him. He is. We just think they're betting on the wrong strategy. They're betting on a database strategy. We're betting on the cloud. Microsoft, I mean, they advertise more, they do more cloud marketing than I think any other company out there. It's been great for us. They've been telling the whole world that you should go to the cloud, which is great until you realize they don't actually have a product that really works in the cloud. They have to do this hybrid hosted new stuff. I mean, it's very early days for them. And so, you know, they're still struggling. It's hard for these larger companies to make this transition. Here's something else that hasn't changed. For many of you who've been a NetSuite customer, this slide here was in every sales presentation starting 15 years ago. Many of you saw this. Many of the people in this room who became customers a long time will have seen this slide. And let me tell you what this is. When NetSuite got founded, Evan Goldberg had worked at Oracle. He'd left to start a new business. And this is a business competing with Flash. He had about 40, 50 people in the company. They had Act for sales, they had QuickBooks for finance, they had spreadsheets, they had some other things. And he's speaking to Larry Ellison and just saying, you know what, I've got this problem. I can't figure out what's going on in my business because nothing talks to each other. I have to put everything together, combine it in a spreadsheet. If I run a promotion, it takes me weeks to figure out what happened and whether it had an impact. And Ellison basically said in this famous 5-minute conversation, sounds like small businesses have the same problem as large ones, which is disparate applications that don't talk to each other. Why don't you go build that and I'll pay for it? Turns out he paid for it twice. He paid for it once to start the company and paid it once to buy it. Didn't really think about that. He did, don't worry, he did okay. I wouldn't worry about it. So this was the original founding. This was the point of NetSuite. We were founded to solve the on-premise hairball. But what's happened? We've replaced the on-premise hairball with a cloud hairball. And this is what always happens when there's a platform change. In the late 90s, when client-server was replacing all the legacy technology and client-servers are big apps, what happened was all these point products got built, all these companies, and literally hundreds of them. And they all went public in the 90s, and they all got ridiculous valuations, and you know, things were going crazy. Where are they all today? They don't exist, none of them. They've all been sold off, they've all out of business, all been milked for a maintenance stream. They have all gone away. And that's what happens when you start a new platform shift. So history may not exactly repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes. And the challenge with this is that when you've got this cloud hairball, this is something you have to maintain. This isn't the reduction in the IT costs that you once envisioned it. I mean, this is, the same problems still exist. You get into a, when you're looking at data in two different systems, you get into a he said, she said situation, the fabric of society breaks down, you're fighting for food scraps next to burning trash cans. Okay, it's not quite that bad. But the point is that the cloud APIs made it a lot easier to integrate, but it didn't make it easy. And here's the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is, back in the day, you had a landline. You would call up someone in France, and I remember when I grew up with Irish parents in England, we would call someone in France, and it was $5 or £5 a minute to make this phone call. I had my mother screaming in the background, like, get off the call, it's an international line. That was what would happen. But now we have these wonderful things called mobile phones, where we can just press a button, we can call them, we can send a text. It's fantastic. It's really easy to communicate. But the problem is, if you're speaking English and they're speaking French, you will lose, something gets lost in translation or any translation. It still doesn't solve the fundamental problem of data being fragmented. So NetSuite, hence the name, has always been a believer in the suite. It's always been the core of what we do. And in many ways, that is exactly where we're focused and where we're refocusing our energy. Now, what you're going to see here is, many of you have seen this wheel before. You may have noticed there's an addition in this wheel called BFN. So BFN stands for Built for NetSuite. When we first did the Suite Cloud Developer Network, our first iteration of a partner ecosystem, it actually didn't go that great. And the reason it didn't go that great is because we would have two partners that would build integration with us, because there were still a lot of additional use cases, a lot of additional vertical needs. Partners are central to what any application modern business can do. But they would integrate with us. And then maybe when we would do an upgrade or they would do an upgrade, things would break. The two partners would call things by the same object name and they would conflict with each other. And that burden of maintaining those integrations, maintaining those workflows fell onto customers. And that is still what happens with most cloud hairballs today. That burden falls on to the customers. Built for NetSuite was our version of a set of standards where not only do we manage the workflows and the integrations and we manage those conflicts, but we have partners integrate with each other and we put those all in single NetSuite accounts and we test them. We took on the burden of that. And so that we can do it, you don't have to. So we are now including Built for NetSuite as part of what we see as the core strategy of our wheel. And included in Built for NetSuite are going to be all these Oracle products we have as well. I mean, in some ways, we have open APIs. How we're going to integrate with Oracle and how we're going to integrate with partner products is going to be exactly the same. However, we always had the vision of the suite. But there was always a little bit missing. There was one piece of that pie that in 18 years we never quite got ready. Well, today, I'm extremely happy to announce that we have completed the final piece of the pie, and I'm announcing the launch of Sweet People. Woo! Yeah, I think they're just going to do the fireball every single time I say sweet, because we can't help ourselves. Whenever we name anything, it's got to be sweet. Sweet People. Sweet People, the world's most unified and flexible human resources system ever built. Let me explain why. I'm going to give you a little teaser now. Evan's going to show this all tomorrow, but here's a quick teaser for you.
Sweet People will change your company by building a more engaged workforce, improving operational efficiency, supporting compliance, efficiency, and insights, and enhancing strategic decision-making. And because it's part of NetSuite, you can now manage and engage a global workforce better than ever.
All right, sweet people. Okay, so let me give you a quick example. So I want to show you how unified it is. This is an inventory manager role. There's a bunch of orders they have to fulfill. So looking at the orders they've got. But right on their dashboard, they can see the people who are off today and can drill straight in and actually see the calendar, who's not. And then straight from their inventory manager role, they can click and review the time off requests. NetSuite has made this entirely unified. We didn't create a financial system, and then over the side we've created a human resource system that you log off on one or log into the other, or it's a separate module you integrate. And let me tell you how unified it is. This is how you know how unified it is. You cannot buy Suite people without buying the rest of NetSuite. It doesn't work. That's how unified it is. NetSuite has always, when we have built applications, we have always built them to run a business and not to run a department, and that's exactly how we did this. We took all those workflows and integrated them tightly into all the roles of what people do on a day-in, day-out basis. And not only is it the most unified system, it's also the most flexible. We built Suite People into the core of the application and made everything in it available to the platform. This incredibly powerful platform that allows you to change and modify and customize and personalize it for your solution. All of those tools, the Suite script, the workflow, everything is available to Suite People. So this is an employee center for one company. With just point and click and using this flexible platform, you can modify your employee center to look something like this. And so the exact same system, the exact same human resources employee center side by side, the same system, the same process, modified for your workflows to what's important to you. So with that, I'm extremely happy that we have completed the wheel and that we have Suite People, the world's most unified and flexible human resources system. So thank you very much to the team for building that. Now, often when we're at these events, I know we tell about the future, where we're going as a company. Well, this is not a vision, this is not a future plan. This is built now. It is available starting June 1st, and the only reason we're not selling it prior to that is because we're closing out, we have to close out our May year end, and then get the sales. But come June 1st, anyone can buy Suite People. And here's the other thing with it. It's not only that will those be the first customers, we've actually had customers live and early adopters using this product for many, many years. Oh, sorry, not many years, sorry. Many months, for many months. So I would have liked to introduce Noah Finn, one of the early adopters of this program, a NetSuite user who's been using them for many, many months. Turns out he has food poisoning. So we're not going to get to see Noah today. We may get to see him tomorrow in Evan's keynote to explain what a great use of the system he's had. I think he sent me a text at 4 in the morning about his food poisoning. I'm joking. He really has food poisoning. He's actually not in great shape. We're hoping he gets over it by tomorrow. But what he would have told you, and hopefully we'll get this from him tomorrow, it was the easiest to use. It was completely integrated into the system, and they didn't have to change anything. They actually, even though it was very flexible, they had no customizations they need to get it live. All right, okay, that's Suite People. However, we have built the best unified cloud suite on the planet. Nothing else comes close. But that is just the starting point. There's an awful lot of confusion about cloud out there. Well, as I said, everyone's trying to look like NetSuite. Everyone's trying to become a cloud company. There's a lot of what we call cloud washing, fake cloud, Frankenstein, hybrid cloud, and that's just in the SAP product family. I got to work on those. So now you're part of Oracle. I've really got to get my SAP digs down, so I'll work on that. Okay, the Suite one. The Suite always wins. Now, having built a unified cloud suite, most people would have sold the company and gone home. Okay, we did sell the company, but we didn't go home. We didn't stop. We're keeping going. The arrogance of success is to think what you did yesterday is going to be good enough for tomorrow. So we are not resting on our laurels. So we have to ask ourselves a question. Are we ready for next? Are you ready for next? Are we ready for your next? What is the thing that's going to take us to the next level? What is the thing that's going to move us forward? We understand that NetSuite is at the core of your business, that we're not a niche product, we're not a sideline business, that if it goes down, you won't be able to operate. We understand that we are core to what you do, and we take that responsibility very seriously. But the challenge is that every next is different. You may add a new product, you may add a new subscription item, have new competition, a new technology, need to go to a new country. Every next is different. But every industry has a different next. No matter what vertical or industry you're in, each one of them is saying, not everything fills into a single box. So we had to think, what's going to be our next? And sometimes the inspiration comes from coming to an event like SuiteWorld. Sometimes it's just a moment where you wake up in the morning and you've got this bright idea. Sometimes you meet someone on the street or a customer event or a party, you get inspired. I'm going to tell you where our next inspiration came from. So we knew in verticals that we'd been in industries for many years, but we wanted to go deeper. We really wanted to dominate a particular industry or vertical. And so we picked one, and what we picked was retail apparel, and as our first vertical we were going to dominate. And we took our Tiger team and we put them in a room. It was sales, it was services, development. And we said, don't have a day job, go off in a room and figure this out, figure how we can dominate that vertical. How can we do verticals better? And so sent them off, and they went off for a few months and worked on something. Another challenge we were having is, over the years, we had been building more and more sophisticated, complex features. Omnichannel, multi-book, one world. These are very sophisticated features. But what was happening is they were taking longer and longer to implement. It was taking more hours of implementation to implement them as we built these more complex features. But they were high value, so people wanted them, and people were just taking longer to go live. And if you looked at our public company filings pre the acquisition, you would have seen that our services revenue was growing faster than our subscription revenue. Now, that's not the ideal thing in a cloud SaaS product. The other challenge we were having, and again, took a Tiger team, put them off in a room and said, go figure out how to solve that problem. The other challenge we had is, and if you look at every tech IPO, just about every single one of them is NetSuite customers. We deal with the hypergrowth companies. We take people from 5 employees to 5,000 employees, often in the exact same instance of NetSuite. That's what NetSuite is. The version that NetSuite uses of NetSuite is the exact same instance that Evan uploaded the QuickBooks file in 1999. But we had to find a better way of supporting that growth and changing with them as they rapidly change. So again, another Tiger team, put them in a room, said, come back with an answer. They all came back with the same answer, the same way to solve these various problems. And we're calling that Suite Success. The world's first unified industry cloud solution. Now, it's a buzzword, and I guarantee you that a bunch of analysts who are sitting here, people who've been in the ERP industry for 30 years, have just heard one thing, and all they just heard was YARIM. And what YARIM is, yet another rapid implementation model. And I'm going to do my best to convince you that's not. Because here's what we learned. You cannot support it that way if you don't deliver it that way, if you don't sell it that way, if you don't build it that way. And that was our epiphany, is that you had to do all of this to solve the problems. You couldn't play whack-a-mole, you had to solve it holistically. And so when you think about how we build it, so we now have pre-built into these Suite Success accounts thousands of hours of configuration. The dashboards, the KPIs, the customer form, the invoice form, the roles, the auditability, the GRC, all of it gets built in by vertical. So we build it. And this is how you know it's different than, YARIM, is because when you buy NetSuite, and most of you will know this, you get 2 things that day. When you sign a contract with NetSuite, you can expect to get 2 things. You will firstly get your invoice, very shortly, a few hours afterwards. We're very efficient. And the second thing you'll get very shortly after is your login to your account. And when you log in, you will get this fully configured, fully personalized vertical account. It's maintained and provisioned by product. And when partners will build vertical editions as well and their own Suite Success accounts, we'll maintain and we'll provision them as well. And then we'll be able, product will do QA testing whenever we do a major release or eFix or anything. They'll also test it as well. So it's full in on product. In sales, we realized you couldn't deliver that way if you didn't sell it that way. And what we had to change sales. So we used to show up in sales and ask the question, what do you want your system to do? And we had to change the question to, what are the business goals you want to achieve? And then we come back with essentially leading practices in order to give you that. So now delivery, when we deliver this, we deliver it in a way that you can consume it. And the first process, it used to be in our implementation cycle of an implementation, was called BRD, Business Requirements Documents. That all happens pre-sales now. We get that out of the way before you sign the contract, so we all know what we implement is what we sell. The other reason you can tell, these Suite Success accounts maintained by product, in the past, sales would have a team that would build demo accounts, and services would then get a blank account to implement, and they may have some templates they'd used in the past they'd wrote. The demo account and the implementation account are the exact same thing. If the sales team want a demo account, they get provisioned the exact same thing that services get when they start to implement the account. This then allows us to then support and grow and look at what your needs are and how you can consume and how we can move with you. And a very important component of this is that we created for every single vertical and industry that we're in something we call the stairway to heaven. Unlike some of our competition who put you on the highway to hell. Boom, boom, okay. There's value at every step. We look at where you are. We evaluate where you are in your system's maturity. We look at whether if you're a warehouse, do you need inventory management? And maybe you want to expand it to commerce and B2C or B2B commerce. And then maybe moving up the stairway, you can innovate. That's an important component. And every single industry and vertical we have has what we call their own stairway to heaven. Suite Success is a verticalized, unified cloud approach. So, this is something I am intensely passionate about, which it's, many people get excited about many things, but this is something that anyone at NetSuite knows. This is something that we've been talking about and we've been pushing for the last couple of years. And in fact, what you'll see when you see these accounts, these incredibly detail-rich, this is exactly what you get. This is for a retail store manager. This is verticalized, role-based, completely configured. And it's not just for new customers. What we look at for new customers, for an existing customer, we're actually developing technology, kind of an equivalent of a spider, that will actually go in your account and evaluate your configurations and your customizations and see where you are in the process and if you're ready to consume these modular. So you can call your existing account rep and we can run this spider by your vertical and we'll see where you are. And if there's a particular process you want to adopt that's optimal, then that's what we're going to do. So, again, this is not a pipe dream. This is not a vision. We launched this in the first vertical wholesale distribution in January of 2016. We have sold over 300 customers a Suite Success account in 8 different industries. In Q4, even though we'd only rolled it out to about half our verticals by that stage, 43% of all the logos we sold were Suite Success. We love it because our customers love it. And what our customers love about it is, in these 300 accounts, remember, we're doing all the requirements before you sign the contract. There have been 4 change orders in those 300 implementations. I'm not sure if that's the services team clapping or the customers. Okay, customers are going live 60% faster. Much more rapid implementations. 90% are immediately referenceable. When you go live, usually it takes a while once you go through some stabilization. The day they go live, they're referenceable. And implementation costs are less. It's costs less, it's faster, you get more. How could you not love it? And here's what this, and I could go on and on and on about the stats here, But one of my favorites here is when we do performance testing, which we do all the time, the average paid load time in a Suite Success account is 66% faster than in a non-Suite Success account. When you standardize, you can optimize. And so we can really help and really optimize and test. So you may get the impression I'm all behind Suite Success, because I am. It is the most important initiative. It's the biggest change management inside of NetSuite that we've had in many years, and we're delivering all those benefits to our customers. And let me now bring up one of those customers, Bill Tingle, the CIO of Pods, who's going to tell us about his experience with Suite Success. Hey, Bill, how are you? Good to see you. All right, so tell us about Pods.
Well, Pods was the first portable on-demand storage company that came into existence. We used containers, and it was formed in 1998 by a retired fire chief who wanted to grow and expand his family storage business. One of the things he noticed early in his work with containers was that as a fireman, many people had their belongings alongside the sidewalk after they were devastated by fire. And he thought, well, rather than make people take their merchandise or their belongings into a storage unit, let's bring the containers to them. And so over the years, what we've done is we've expanded to commercial markets. We now have 170,000 containers, 230 storage centers. We're in 4 countries. And so we've really seen some good success. And we're really focused on bringing customers a peace of mind that we're going to take care of their belongings and get their items where they need to be.
All right, excellent. Yeah. So tell us about your IT transformation then.
So since we started out in a local market, Clearwater, Florida, and we're focused on residential customers only, the system that we had built for that business scenario wasn't going to take us to where we are now. Well, where we are now, as a global company serving commercial customers and residential customers, we have a vision for building an ecosystem, not only internally, but that we can integrate our ecosystem with an industry-wide ecosystem so that we can provide containerized services to anybody that wants to do business with us. And the platform that we had wasn't going to get us there, so we went through selection process and selected NetSuite, which will be the heart of our internal ecosystem.
So why NetSuite and why Suite Success? You're one of the first.
Yeah, sure. So first, why NetSuite? And as we looked at the platform, obviously we looked at a short list of ERP vendors. One of the things that we noticed right away was that we had built a capability map on our goals, and the alignment with NetSuite's capabilities and our capability map was just really nice and even. Secondly, in IT, we had guiding principles around our technology strategy, so we wanted to kind of compare that. And we were able to kind of lift up the hood and look at the get a sense of the underlying technology, and there was a really good alignment with NetSuite's technology and where we wanted to go, especially when we talk about web scale and integrating ecosystems and that sort of thing. Clearly we're also concerned about speed to market, and then the other thing is, if you've been through ERP in the past, upgrades are usually painful, 6 to 9 months, and you lose opportunity to do much of anything else during that time frame. And so we learned about the upgrade cycle with Suite Success and NetSuite, and that was really attractive to us. And then lastly is just the speed at which we could get to market. And so that leads you to Suite Success, which was a new concept to us, and it was clear that ERP systems are complex, risky, expensive, it takes a long time, and it was clear that NetSuite had made a pretty big investment in pre-configurations, getting the platform a jump start, methodology, simplifying services. And so, and actually we kind of started looking at that early in the process, and we felt that that was going to get us where we needed to be.
Okay, now you've bought a lot of software in the past. So explain the sales experience to us. How was that different?
Yeah, I thought that might have just been our sales team, but based on what you just said, they're practicing what you're teaching them. So I noticed right away that the sales process with NetSuite was dramatically different than the other companies we were looking at. With the other companies, I felt like we were being sold. We were talking about products, features, functions, looking at demos that really were probably Hollywood facades. We wasn't sure what was real behind it. But with NetSuite, we felt like we were starting a project. We felt like right away we were looking at goals, we were looking at capabilities, we were starting to do process alignment, we were actually starting Suite Success. I didn't know that at the time. And as we got through, and the other impressive thing is the sales team actually had a project plan with steps and gates, and so we had go, no-go gates every along the way. And so while we had our project plan for our selection process, NetSuite built a project plan, which really was an early Suite Success project plan, that by the time we got to the end, the decision was easy. And when we actually selected and began the project, all the knowledge that was captured during the selection process transitioned right into the beginning of Suite success, and we had already started, and we're well down the field as we went through it. So it was a great experience.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right, so you've heard 3 things today. Global, we're not actually calling that one Suite Global, we're just going global. You've heard about Suite People, the most unified and flexible human resources system ever built. And you've heard about what I think is the next generation of customer success in cloud, which is Suite Success. All right, so with that, let's get on with the rest of the show.
Somebody say yeah. Oh, no, no, no. Say yeah. Yes, this is what we know. Consumers need options. Consumers need far more than what they're being offered. The power to buy whatever they want, whenever they want, from wherever they are on Earth. Whether online, mobile, in stores, and have it all work in concert. Enter omni-channel commerce. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome VP of Commerce Products, NetSuite Global Business Unit, Andy Lloyd.
Hey, it's great to be here. You know, in a year where we've had a lot of change, it's being at SuiteWorld again with all of our customers and partners is kind of like an extended family reunion. And this is where I'll avoid making the joke about my boss, Crazy Uncle Jim. But it was about 6 years ago that NetSuite decided to invest significantly in building a dramatically enhanced commerce platform that was really unified with the back office of NetSuite. And so as we went out and started talking to customers about what we were talking about doing, what we heard from them was actually that they were challenged with something much more dramatic than the need for a new e-commerce platform. They were fighting a battle where product availability was visible globally, and even price availability was visible to anyone, anywhere around the world. And so these companies were really struggling to tackle this problem and build a better customer experience that really unified the customer journey. And what they had seen was, as they would transition from one system to another, whether it was e-commerce to point of sale to the phone, they got different information because these different transactional systems were built on top of different systems of truth or different data. And so as we took a look at that, we realized that what we needed to do was much more significant than simply reinventing the e-commerce platform on top of NetSuite. And we really needed to build out an entire omni-channel solution. Everything from e-commerce to point of sale to order management and even commerce marketing, where we bought the leading commerce marketing company in the world, Bronto. And so as we talked to these companies, we also heard them say, we know that we're going through significant change today, but this change is not going to stop. In fact, the rate of change only continues to accelerate. And so as we built out these capabilities, we started to have customers who came to us and said, we're actually really trying to fundamentally reinvent the way that we do business. We want to put our customers at the center, and the software functionality should all be geared towards better supporting those customers as they had multiple step customer journeys. And so as we progressed down that path, we started to implement customers, and we've started to have some tremendous success. So we're very fortunate today to have 2 of our customers here who are going to talk about how they've used NetSuite and our omni-channel capabilities to transform their businesses. So hopefully you'll welcome to the stage the CEO of Journell, Lynn Lewis, and the CEO of Rally House, Aaron Liebert. Thanks for being here. Great to have you here. So maybe we'll start with Lynn. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about your business and how long you've been a NetSuite customer.
Sure. So Journell is a luxury lingerie business. So do we have any images? We got one. If you want more, the others were deemed not safe for the screen. Check it out on your phone. But we have gorgeous lingerie products, and we sell them in our 4 stores and our online business. And I'm really passionate about the customer experience, about our lingerie product. We actually design our own as well. And NetSuite for me, and we've been with NetSuite now since 2011, so about 6 years. I'm very familiar. All of my executive team are really NetSuite experts at this point, which is really important for us to access the data. it is critical to our ability to run easily. And maybe I can just tell a quick short story.
Of course.
It starts sad, it gets happy. So the sad part was about 2 months ago, my CFO quit unexpectedly. So I figured I would be running accounting and finance for the next while, which is not what I like to do. But then I was very lucky. We were able to hire on a great recommendation, a new woman. She's doing fabulous. It's been about 2.5 weeks. She can already run NetSuite. She can already close our books, which allows me and the rest of the team to really focus on what we should be focusing on.
Right, great, fantastic. So, you know, over time, you've been a long-time NetSuite customer, you've said. Are there any projects that you've taken on that have actually really significantly enhanced the way that you do business?
Yeah, so there's a new one I was just looking at that we built ourselves. So one of the things that's nice for us is all the customization that is possible with NetSuite. So just to explain a little bit about lingerie, because I think there are some gentlemen here who might not know about it. So lingerie is a highly SKU-intensive business.
Yeah.
Do you know this? Bras come in a lot of different sizes, guys. So you got the band sizes, you got the cup sizes, you got one style, might have 30 different SKU permutations, which is a challenge for a small retail business, both for inventory management and cash management, but also to make sure that in our 1,500 square foot stores that we have the right product and sizes there for our customers. So previously we had somebody who was manually merchandising and placing the 32D in this quantity and the 32C in that quantity. What would happen? We would frequently not have the product we need, so we'd respond by overstocking our stores, which is a cash issue and a customer service issue. So we built a new piece of software that we customized, which allows us to set the exact stock quantity we want and send a message to our warehouse every single night with exactly the SKUs that we want to replenish. So what it's done is it's reduced the stock in our store by over 10%, which is awesome. And it's improved, actually, the SKU coverage. So it's really been huge for us. And that's just one example.
Fantastic. And you did that all yourself?
It's like $2,000, and this developer I know is great.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. And Aaron, maybe you can talk a little bit about Rally House.
Sure. Rally House, we're a family business. We're based in Kansas City. The idea behind Rally House is we're hyper-local stores, gift stores, apparel stores, with clearly a bent on local sports teams, professional teams. We have 60 stores. We opened 17 locations last year, and we're in 9 states, mostly parts of the country that are big sports fans.
Right. Great. And you said you opened 17 stores last year. How many stores do you have total now?
We're up to 60.
So wow, so that's a really significant
big
growth,
year.
And you handled all that on top of NetSuite.
Yeah,
that's
and
great.
yeah.
And now you're also not just a NetSuite customer, not just using our commerce products, but you're also a Bronto customer. Can you talk a little bit about how you're using Bronto?
Sure. We've been with an email provider for 4 or 5 years, and last year at SuiteWorld we were introduced to Bronto, and we love the ability to be fully integrated with all the other things we're doing in NetSuite. So even though we still have a contract, we started the implementation with Bronto about 9 months ago, just with abandoned cart. I think it took about 8 weeks. Super easy. And we've seen really good success with it. We're excited once our contract with our other provider runs out at the end of the year to convert the whole program over.
That's great. So you're using Bronto in conjunction with Suite Commerce Advanced in order to do cart recovery, right?
Yeah.
Great. And you've also gone through some fairly significant changes to your business in order to kind of enhance the customer experience. Maybe you can talk a little bit about what you guys have just finished.
Sure. Well, we've seen the same benefit as Lynn with the ability to customize processes. So, the big initiative for us last year was to get 17 stores open. Now it's to run them profitably, and so that's going to come through automation of replenishment, reorders, and those kind of things. So similarly, we had success with bringing in some programmers to create auto replenishment systems. We're generating purchase orders every night that are going out to our vendors that are shipping into the stores. But the biggest initiative for us this year is in the ever-changing retail environment. We're trying to get smarter and better. And we currently have a model with 60 locations and a distribution center. And as you roll forward in retail, that's not the model that you want in the future. And so the great thing about NetSuite is using Suite Commerce Advanced, we're able to put all of our store inventory online relatively quickly. So we made this decision about 3 weeks ago to put all the inventory in our whole company online. We'll have that completed in about 3 weeks. And at that point, really by mid-May, we're actually going to shut down our distribution center and do 100% of the fulfillment out of our stores. two major, well, there's 25 major benefits of that. The big one is we have about 5 times more products in our stores than we do in our distribution center in Kansas. So we're going to see immediate lift in sales from that. And most of our customers actually live near our stores. You know, Steelers fans live in Pittsburgh, Phillies fans live in Philly. So we'll be shipping out of locations, mostly one-day transits, and improve our customer service significantly.
Wow, that's incredible. So greater selection, faster shipping time, lower costs?
And 6 weeks. And a guy sitting over there that's doing it.
All right,
so.
don't tell anyone who the guy
he's not
is.
Available.
They'll all be talking to him.
He's busy.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Andy.
Yes, indeed. Somebody say next starts now. I said next starts now. From the front to the back, from the right to the left. Tell me, my good people, what's your next? Going global, going public, a new revenue stream? Whatever you envision, whatever you conceive, you need a platform that supports what you conceive. Yes, indeed. Get ready. Next ready. ERP. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome SVP, Strategy and Marketing, NetSuite Global Business Unit, Jason Maynard.
Welcome, thank you. That's awesome. Are you guys having a good time? This is pretty exciting. Probably never seen an open like that. I think I heard if I say the word sweet. 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 Where's my fireball? McGeever gives no love to the marketing department. Nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyways, thank you guys very much. I'm going to talk a little bit about the benefits of the unified suite. I'm going to bring up a couple customers to help tell a story to bring this to life. From day one, our mission has been to help businesses scale and grow and be successful. The unified suite's been that foundation. We built a system to run a business, not a department. The early slogan of NetSuite was no limits. No limits have changed. There are all sorts of different Next. Next come in different flavors for different industries. And the question every leader has to ask is, how do I put my company in the right position to be ready for next? Now, we call this being a next-ready business. I'm going to tell you about 3 different models that we're supporting all with inside of NetSuite, and some of the key product features that you're going to hear about in Evan's keynote tomorrow. So first up, a product company. We have a ton of new supply chain features that are going to benefit manufacturers to distributors to retailers. We have a new vendor dashboard for relationships with your suppliers. We've got new capabilities coming for warehouse management, contract manufacturing to support an omni-channel business, omni-channel from distribution all the way into sourcing. We're also going to be doing some new things in terms of helping our services companies, right? Sweet people, or as I like to call it, sweet peeps. We got sweet peeps. You're going to have sweet peeps. We have 2 leading-edge solutions, SRP and OpenAir. Both products are bringing a lot of new great features, effective time tracking, time-off management. We've got all sorts of new capabilities that we're bringing for the PSA space. Now, products and services, selling a thing and selling time are great. But what is happening in the industry is that we're seeing a shift. We're seeing models emerge where you're going to sell things as a service. You're going to sell time with a subscription. All sorts of new business models based around usage, right? It's going to be based around how customers want to consume. Jim talked about every company looking like NetSuite. We're seeing every company become a cloud company. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. This shift is taking place. Last year at SuiteWorld, we announced Suite Billing. Unified billing and revenue recognition. This year, we have a whole host of new capabilities coming out. New price book. We're going to define different pricing schemes. Anything you need to do to change your business model to support where your customers are going. A whole host of new features in 2017 for Suite Billing. We're very excited about this. Now, what makes it magic, though, is that this all lives in a single platform. Suite Cloud wraps this. You can change your business model. You can customize it, right? Tons of flexibility still with the platform. What's interesting, though, is governance, risk, and compliance, and how you actually manage your business as you scale are becoming even more important. There are all sorts of new changes coming with accounting standards. Many of you who want to go public or are going public will have to deal with this little thing called ASC 606. NetSuite has the world's best advanced revenue management capabilities. We have tons of customers running on this, but this is something everyone who's going to be taking off that trajectory to go public is going to have to start thinking about, not yesterday, but today. You got to do it now. Like, this is coming. Now, when we think about this, all ERP systems in the future have to support this next ready business. You have to support all of these business models together. The hairball is always a bad idea, but when you plug third-party applications, some little point product for subscription or a little point product for revenue recognition into the general ledger, it's downright reckless. You cannot do that. The unified suite has the power to keep you in sync, any business model, perfect revenue recognition. We like to say, if you can sell it, we can bill it and recognize it. I like to say, if your system can't do this, it's like being a Rice Krispie without the snap, crackle, and pop. I got that from Jim. Thank you, Jim. So, we believe unifying systems are so important. We're going to bring up a couple customers. One of the first customers I want to bring up is we're going to bring our friends from Smartsheet. We brought a little video before I bring their CEO on stage to tell you about Smartsheet's business and the great stuff they're doing with us. Let's hit the video.
Work today comes at teams faster and from more directions than ever before. Smartsheet is a SaaS platform for managing and automating collaborative work. With Smartsheet, enterprises can embrace the volume, velocity, and vectors of modern work, confident in their ability to track, report, and automate processes and projects at scale. Accelerate innovation and business outcomes with Smartsheet, the new possible for collaborative work, used by more than 65,000 brands around the world.
All right. Heard a little bit about Mark's Smartsheet. Let's bring up Mark Mader, the CEO. Mark, come on stage. All right. Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Folks saw the video, but why don't you tell a little bit more about what Smartsheet does and some of the problems you guys solve?
Yeah, so we're a cloud business, and we serve actually 68,000 brands today.
It's growing
and
fast.
We help, while NetSuite is solving the back office, we are attacking the front office. So all that work you do, managing lists in Excel and collaborating and updating, we do for people beautifully and simply. We today, we have probably 150 to 200 of our customers in the audience today. So when they describe managing work, they're talking about faster month-end close, better transparency on work status, and even automating and improving the speed of audit. Now, for the 67,000 brands who aren't attending an ERP conference today, they're doing things like managing the Super Bowl. We powered that for the last 4 years. We help send rockets into space, and we help big technology clients onboard their clients. Now, this month, we're going to add 2,000 brands to our customer list.
Wow.
Now, with 550 employees, the only way you do that is if it can be done in a self-directed manner. So the ease with which people come in, whether you're a $1,000 a year customer or you're a seven-figure customer, is essential to success.
Sounds like a lot of complexity.
There is.
Yeah. What led you to NetSuite?
I would say we were more pushed or driven to NetSuite. So rewind 6 years, life was pretty simple, 2,000 customers, everybody paying credit card. The payment processor actually handled our recurring billing. And then lo and behold, a larger customer came along and said, we'd like to be invoiced. That was the exception. We're like, no problem, we'll handle that. 10x that to 25,000 customers. The exception became the rule, and we had a tremendous need for better organization. We threw money at the problem, people at the problem. And while it was a high quality problem, Jason, as my engineering head would say, it's still a problem.
Yes.
So double that up to 50,000, and it became obvious that we had to make a move to NetSuite.
Great, we love it. You went live earlier this year. What are some of the benefits you're seeing?
Less anxious. That's the first benefit.
We like that.
So we kind of, when you move 68,000 customers, it's sort of like asking 68,000 passengers to get on the plane, then informing them you're swapping the engines out, and then you got to stick the landing. So Feb 1 was a complete non-event for us, our go-live date. We transitioned very easily. And the benefits now, actually before hopping the plane yesterday morning, I talked to Kelly, my head of revenue accounting. I said, Kelly, how's NetSuite? She goes, I love it. And she said that because she shaved 3 days off her month close in February and another day in March. So her life is better. So she is the same person who managed a 2.5-day pizza-fueled marathon every single month for the last 2 years. So she's reporting better, she has greater confidence. And as our product increases in complexity and offering size, that revenue accounting piece becomes even more important.
Tell Kelly we love her too, okay? What comes next for Smartsheet?
Well, it sounds like we're going to be getting a sales call on Suite people here pretty soon. We're adding about 300 people to our staff. We'll be at 750. We're breaking the $100 million revenue marker this summer, which is exciting, doing that with the help of NetSuite. And we're really setting the table for a bigger push into the enterprise. Also, with 30% of our revenue abroad, we needed a platform to help manage our operations at scale in the 190 countries we serve today on a paid basis. Now, we're not putting operations there, but we will start with Europe in the very near future.
That's great. One of the other interesting things about the relationship between the two companies is Smartsheet is also a partner. We're a customer. They're actually in the expo floor, booth 630. They can come check it out.
Absolutely.
When the folks go there, what are they going to see in the booth?
Well, we have a couple use cases that are really targeted at finance and operations type people. So when you talk about improving month-end close, improving audit visibility, those are use cases that we'll be highlighting in the booth.
Awesome. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for your support.
Yep.
Thanks a lot. Mark Mader, everybody. All right. We talked a lot about product companies and service companies and subscription and all these business models coming together. I'd like to bring up our next customer, who has a very interesting business with a lot of those factors coming in. I'd like to bring up the CEO of Ring, Jamie Siminoff. Jamie, welcome. What's up, man? Thank you. All right. Jamie, you look a lot like the guy in the Ring TV commercials.
Well, that's because I am, Jason.
All right. Fantastic. Tell us about Ring.
So Ring, we're known for our video doorbell. The Ring video doorbell lets you see and speak to anyone at your front door from anywhere using your smartphone or tablets. We've expanded into the ring of security around your home. We launched a product called the Ring Floodlight Cam, which is a motion detection floodlight that now has a camera in it. And we also have products for securing the neighborhood. Our business is actually around reducing crime in neighborhoods. It's our mission and it's our focus.
That's fantastic. How did you end up at NetSuite? What's the story
So we
there?
actually started with NetSuite when we were 10 people. It was the outsource accounting firm was using NetSuite. So we started on it when I didn't even know what NetSuite was. And we have now grown with it. We're over 1,000 team members in the company today. So we've grown all the way from 10 to 1,000 with it. And that's, I think, exactly what NetSuite gives you, is the ability to just grow without borders.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What are some of the benefits that you're seeing?
I mean, the biggest benefit is in a fast growth company, we've gone, in the last 2 years, we went from 50 to 1,000 people in the company. We've grown sales dramatically. Everything breaks. Like literally, I think this is the only product we have that hasn't broken, that hasn't let us down. And so what NetSuite's done is it's a very complex business. We manufacture product, we design product, we buy chips for the product, we warehouse it, e-commerce, subscription. I mean, we do everything. And so what's allowed us is all these modules is to maintain those, start small. So we started our warehouse with literally a shipping person, and then build it up into a full-fledged, like, warehouse logistics operation on the same platform.
That's amazing. When we did the rehearsal, he told me this story, and after I saw my slides, I was like, I promise I'm not going to tear up on stage.
Come here.
Seriously,
Come here.
thank you. Thanks, buddy. We've known each other for a while, and I just, every time I hear it.
He just gets a little emotional about growth and NetSuite and cloud.
I can tell him business systems and accounting are big. It's tough. Well, what's next for Ring? What's coming?
Yeah, we're just going to keep building around the rings of security and really securing the neighborhood. That's our big thing. So we've been catching criminals. We almost convict 1 criminal a day right now. That's our big our KPI is around how many people we can catch. And so really making neighborhoods more secure and better places to live.
That's fantastic. We love it. We also want to let you guys know Ring is here. They bought the Ring House that tells you how the products work. If you go to the expo floor, you can kind of see it. I think we got a picture of it here. Let's pop it. There it is. There's the Ring House. Looks right there. We also have a very generous offer in the conference bags under your seat. Jamie is giving everyone a $25 discount code in
Which
the
you're
bag.
able to put into your NetSuite, and actually it lets you
Yeah.
do the discounting and account for
Yeah,
it.
so in the conference bag, we have that.
Oh, sorry, Jason. That's my ring actually going off.
Your ring's going off.
It's actually weird. It's the ring house at the expo floor, but that super responsible mascot you have, Sweet Stanley, is watching it.
Sweet Stanley's watching your house?
Yeah, is that?
Oh my gosh, what were we thinking? Well, do we have some auto magical Oracle technology to show folks?
Sure,
on the
Mark
screen?
Mark Hurd loaded something on my phone.
Yeah,
Let me just swipe it up.
We swipe this up from his phone to the thing. Let's see what's going on.
Hello?
What's this?
Hey, I'm here for the party.
What?
What? Part? What? No.
Oh my God!
What?
What is going on? Holy cow!
Hey, Stan. Come say hi to your old pal, Joe.
Stan?
You said he was responsible.
I know, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
All right. You know what? We're going to go head out and go hit the rest of the ring party on the floor. We hope to see you there. Have a great rest of the keynote. Let's go. Let's go this way. Thank you.
Make some noise! Make some noise! The world is not flat, the world's ever revolving, connected by culture, creativity, and commerce. As we break down barriers, blur boundaries and borders, you need an ecosystem that can process all orders, any language, any currency, worldwide, international. That system is NetSuite, Global Financials. I repeat, NetSuite, Global Financials. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Jim McGeever.
We're almost there. We're almost there. All right. Okay. Just a few more things to go. I want to finish up with something we talked about last year. Now, this is the most literal slide you will ever see. Last year, we announced that we put a stake in the ground. And we put a stake in the ground to say that we were going to have the best global financial system on the planet, and nothing has changed. So, what we've done in the last year is we've added an enormous amount of features to One World and global financials. We've added a brand new intercompany framework. We've added new, now global entity manager, single multi-subsidiary view of the customer. We've added risk and compliance. And I want to bring up to the stage now to an incredible partner, an incredible customer who's going to tell us a little bit about that. We'd like to bring up Lalit Singh from Hewlett-Packard and Carl Rupelis from Deloitte. Thank you very much. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Jim, how's it going?
Good to see you. All right, so tell us a little bit about what's going on with the transformation at Hewlett-Packard Enterprise.
Yeah, so Hewlett-Packard, we have been going through transformation for a while. When Meg Mitwin joined as the CEO and president back in 2011. And it really went into high gear in 2014 when we announced that we were going to split Hewlett-Packard into two companies, HPI, focused on customers, and HPE, focused on the enterprise market, if you will, consumer versus enterprise. Then we liked the idea of splitting, and we increased shareholder value. So we announced split of enterprise services and merged it with CSC, and that company is now called DXC, that just completed. Then we also announced towards end of 2016 that we will spin off our software business and merge it with Micro Focus. So in this process, we have become very good in splitting the companies and increasing the shareholder value. But there is something different we are doing with the software spin merge. We are not just splitting the company, but we are also transforming the company. And when I say that, we are modernizing the whole company by re-platforming the underlying IT assets. And when we started doing that, there was a high-profile Hollywood couple. They called us. They said, hey, we are going through split scenario. Can you help us actually help manage our split? We said, no, we are actually very busy with our split and managing our spin merge. So what we are doing out here is we are reducing 600 plus IT applications to close to 100 applications. And we are bringing, to do that, we are bringing 20 best-in-class cloud-based SaaS products. NetSuite is one of those. So we are using the NetSuite for core financials, for ERP, and we are using OpenAir for all of the professional services automation, if you will. So that's the transformation.
So NetSuite fits into that? I mean, you're running this car. How does NetSuite fit into it?
So NetSuite is really critical to the strategy that HP Software is running. So typically when you do a divestiture, you just clone the old IT stack, and then you run your new organizations on the old stack, and you're not able to be very agile and flexible. So what we're doing here is we're putting in the new organization on a new stack as we divest it, and NetSuite is at the core of that and will allow HP Software to grow and scale over decades.
Okay, so why NetSuite? You must have looked at many choices.
No, that's a good question. As I said earlier, we were looking at a cloud-based architecture for our new best-in-class architecture, if you will. And in that, we wanted this architecture to be flexible, to be scalable and agile, so that as we merge with Micro Focus, and Micro Focus is a acquisition company, we wanted it to be standard-based, and in that process, we looked at multiple products, but NetSuite fitted the bill. We were using that in a smaller business unit of ours, and we evaluated them against certain criteria, and they practically fitted in all of those criteria. So I thought that was a best product.
Okay, so how many countries are you rolling this out to?
Well, HP Software operates now in 70 countries, so NetSuite will be supporting all the countries that NetSuite operates, that HP Software operates in.
So that's a lot of the globe. It looks like you may have got a little work to do in Africa, but it's a large percent of the goal. So this is a huge global rollout. How many customizations did you do?
So the great thing about this is that we had 1,400 requirements, but we have less than 3% customizations, no big customization at all. So this is going to be allowing HP Software to be really nimble, flexible over decades.
That's amazing. 1,400 requirements, only 3% customizations in 70 countries. So what's success criteria for a rollout like this?
Yeah, so for a complex program like this, it's for a $4.5 billion company, and that makes it one of the biggest company that's going through the clean sheet. One of the key success criteria for such implementation is really a partnership. I call it three-way partnership. One component of that is HPE, the team from HPE that's working. Then the second one is our system integrator partners in Deloitte. So huge kudos to Deloitte for being the great partner in crime out here. And the third one is our SaaS partner, so that's NetSuite. So I'm really grateful for NetSuite and for Deloitte to, when they come there in our office, they actually leave their badges in their car. And when they come into our premise or work with us, they are wearing one badge, and that badge has four letters on it, FAST. That's the name of our program. So they just wear that badge, and with that, it's magic that we are creating out here.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thanks very much, everyone. All right. Okay. I know we're running over, but good. So you heard three things today: global, sweet people, and sweet success. It's going to be a phenomenal conference. The sessions are starting now. We've all got to run to our next thing. But thanks very much for everyone coming. I'll see you all next year at SuiteWorld. Thanks very much. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, breakouts will begin at 11:15 a.m. Have a great afternoon.